So we're on Bertechel's book, Yishuv, Emma ben Mismicha. We're on chapter 3, but subsection 58 in chapter 3. And we're just going to, did I say 58? Yeah, 58, right? So, and we're on page what in the English book? 389. 389? Okay, so I'm gonna just go for it. Okay. Yeah, she's inching her way to the table here. It's good. Okay. So he says here, according to what we learned from the godly philosopher, I guess he's referring to the Rambam, that the unity, the Achdut of Israel, is something that is the teva, is something that's implanted. It's part of teva. So Edie wasn't here and Ta'ir wasn't here last week. We're just going to say briefly what that means. Beteva means that things that are beteva have a way to coming back to their teva. If something is forced to act against its teva, against its nature has a way of wanting to come back to itself. The example I gave last time, if you have a dam preventing water from moving forward, the water will keep wanting to move forward. It won't eventually get the point of the dam and saying, okay, I'll stop trying to be water and I'll change my nature and just stay put over here. And so he said that that the nature of Am Yisrael is to be be'achdut. That's the natural, normal state of Am Yisrael, to be be'achdut. What is to be be'achdut? It means all of the people, welcome. You see, it's a domino effect. Once somebody takes somebody's seat, somebody else takes somebody else's seat, and then somebody else takes. It's good. It's musical chairs. It's beautiful. Yeah, it's good.
You get to try a new perspective.
You'll get her perspective. Okay, good. It's good. You'll tell me how it sounds from the different perspective. Okay. It's funny because we're talking about nature. Were you here last week? Yeah. So remember, like it's implanted. Like nature likes to be always go to its natural state of whatever the nature of whatever the thing is, right? Yeah. So, and Am Yisrael is the natural teva of Am Yisrael is to be be'achdut. What does that mean? So now, like sharing spaces, it's all part of the exercise. How well can you do by sharing your space and giving and opening your heart and giving up your chair for someone else to sit in your seat. It's good. It's good practice because that's what, if you're okay with it, you're beteva Am Yisrael. You're acting out the Achdut of Am Yisrael. So what does it mean? Let me just ask you something, okay? Achdut b'Am Yisrael. If it's a teva, if it's beteva, if it's the natural way of Am Yisrael to be b'Achdut, what does that look like in real time to you? Like, just throw out things. What is it? What should it look like?
Living together.
It's unbelievable. No?
Yeah.
A million people were there?
A million.
I know.
It's
And the Arak, yeah. Yeah. Did you get, I should have told you. I should have. Did you have some? Did you go early enough to get a seat in the main room? Because I always go late. Okay, good. So you were there for the whole hour of singing before. It's amazing. He's such a. Everybody's different, and everybody feels that they have a space, who they are, where they're coming from, and it's okay. There's a togetherness. There's a feeling of togetherness and no judgment. You wear a kippah, you don't wear a kippah. You're coming to this holy rabbi speaking, and he doesn't like impose anything. It's just you feel his love and his heart and acceptance. You feel always. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. Yeah. He has his things. He has his thing. Oh, anything else? The question is, what is the natural state of Achdut? What does it look like in real time of Am Yisrael? What does it look like in real time? People at home can pipe in also. Unmute yourself and say something.
I have something.
Cynthia, yeah.
Okay, so
since October 7th, I've been going to a lot of like the barbecues for the soldiers.
Yeah.
Wait, and also, there's a place in the south, on a summit. It's Summit. I forgot the name, and it's a place where people, these like three brothers started this like free food for the soldiers that were going into Gaza, because it was like it's very close to the Gaza border, and it opened up this huge space. I don't know if anyone's been there or knows what I'm talking about. But there's basically like a restaurant that was set up in the middle of the desert that makes free food for the soldiers. It has a store that like soldiers can get socks, underwear, shirts, toothpaste, toothbrushes. It's like a store of free things, and everything is donated, and people cook, volunteer to peel potatoes and food, and everyone's joining in, and people come volunteer from Chutz La'aretz, religious, non-religious, and everyone's in together to making food and taking care of our soldiers.
So what I'm hearing Cynthia saying that Achdut is translated also in real time as providing for what another needs, knowing what will be meaningful to them, that will make them feel loved and cared for and thought of, and you go out of your way and make time to provide whatever needs to be provided, because you're tapping into the need, the emotional need and the physical needs of others.
Also because we're all, especially defense, we're all in it together. We're all, we're going to take care of our soldiers because they're taking care of us, and we need to, protect them.
So what you're at, okay, so now you're adding also, it's not only a sense of caring to provide emotional and physical needs of people, but it's also appreciation for what the other is doing. And when you express appreciation, that also fosters Achdut. And so without an appreciation of the other, what they're contributing and how their piece of the puzzle is fitting in and enhancing your life, it's not so Achdut. Like that also is like kind of, it fills in the content of what Achdut means. An appreciation for what the other is doing for you. Mm-hmm. We're coming up with amazing definitions of Achdut. And yes.
Say that like even solidarity on an emotional level, like feeling like the mutual suffering, mutual like understanding of one another's difficulties and challenges is also so vital. And that's
so okay. So Ta'ir is saying that what's vital for Achdus is a sense of solidarity on the emotional level. Say.
Yeah, like a mutual understanding of each other's emotional like challenges.
Mutual understanding of each other's emotional suffering and challenges.
Yeah.
And plugging into that. Right.
That there was this like collective grieving that was happening. And
okay.
And really like linked me with other Jews that were experiencing that as well, whereas like other people around me were not.
Okay, good. So just plugging in as an individual, plugging into the needs of the klal, understanding that the klal is made up of also pratim, of individuals, that collectively we have a shared challenge that we bear together, each one in their own way. Each one in their own way. According in terms of the degree of how close you are or to the tragedy that happened or not, but you're there with them. They're your brother, they're your sister. You never met them, but they're totally part of you. Fantastic. Okay, so those are good definitions. So that's all of that plus a lot more is the natural state of a Jew to be. Like if any of those elements is missing in in your psyche, in your makeup, in your understanding of yourself in the world as a Jew, if any of those matters is missing, you're not functioning according to what naturally is your natural state of being. Because a Jew naturally is to feel all of that for another Jew. Follow what I'm saying? I said that okay? Okay. Another way of saying unnatural is like, we're normal when we feel that, and we're not normal when we don't feel that. If any one of those elements is missing, it's not a normal state of being. We're not normal. There's something off. Some adjustment has to happen, some tikkun has to happen. It's a matter of a tikkun. To recognize that about ourselves. When we lack empathy, when we have sympathy, when we have love, and when we don't stop and consider and really try to think of, so if this is my responsibility, if this is what it means to be part of Amos, what can I do? Having a sense of, therefore, where is my place and what is it that I can do? How do I fit into this that I'm to be normal about it? Okay. So, according to what he says here, the holy philosopher, I'm assuming that it's the Rambam here, that the Achdut b'Yisrael hi natuna b'teva, that Achdus in Israel is something natun b'teva, is something like implanted like any other law of nature. It's the natural way of Am Yisrael. V'ha'i Achdut, and the lack of unity b'hem in Am Yisrael, something outside of the geder, of the boundaries of teva. We're not functioning according to our own teva. Asher ein lakyum, and something when something is not functioning according to its teva, it doesn't have long-lasting substance to it. Doesn't have staying power. It's if something is not natural, it's not going to be sustainable. It's not going to be sustained before something goes off. Something the disease that it is going to show up because there's no kiyum to it. Can't be kayam. Can't exist forever like that because it's not teva. Teva exists. Teva exists in the long term. And this teva that wants so much to be expressed according to its natural properties or tendencies, properties, will not quiet and will not rest until it'll come back to its natural place, state of being. So the Jewish people, this tzisa, mazit tzisa, this is my word, he's not using this word, but this unrest of the Jewish people, a lot of it has to do with our understanding, some very deep primal place within us, understanding that we're not be'achdut. I have a good example of this. When the body is healthy, all the different parts of the body function one with the other in a natural way. We don't feel the body. The only times where we feel parts of the body is when there's a boo-boo somewhere, when there's an ache somewhere. And then we have to focus our attention on that paper cut. In the best case scenario, it's a paper cut. And we say, the whole system can't function normal until that paper cut is dealt with. I can't think properly. It hurts me. And so when there's something wrong with Am Yisrael, when there's a part of Am Yisrael that's hurting, but if I'm indifferent to it, that's not a healthy body. It's not a healthy organism. I'm dissociating myself from something that I should be taking care of for its health, right? Like someone who has a bleeding finger and he doesn't take care of a bleeding finger and says, it's okay, I have 9 other fingers. Meanwhile, his fingers, it's not normal. We understand that when it has to do with our body, but it's the same thing. All of these chachamim are telling us, It's the same thing. And if we don't feel the pain of the finger that's bleeding, there's something we have to ask ourselves, what's wrong with that person physiologically that they don't feel pain of that part of the body that's dizzy. It's part of an illness. There's certain illnesses that a person isn't aware of their own illness, and it's dangerous. Pain is good because pain motivates us to heal. And so he's screaming like this galus that we were in for 2,000 years made us numb to the plight of Jews living in other parts of the world. We care about the Jews living in our parts of the world and Jews living in other parts of the world. It's not our concern. They're Moroccan, they're Polish, they're this. What does that have to do with me? I'm whatever I am. And he's saying that the Achdut is so natural to the Jewish people that nature itself will like, there's going to be other laws of nature that God put into the world that's going to kick in until we will understand that how we're functioning is not normal, is not natural. Because the Achdut has to be expressed. We have to be one. Kavanati shemidat achdut shehusam b'teva Yisrael. Now, what I mean is that the attribute of unity that was put in the nature of Israel, of Am Yisrael, despite the fact that according to mikre, to outside circumstances, we got thrown out of our unity, we got kicked out of our land, thrown into different places all over the world, which caused us to be indifferent to Jews living in other places of the world. So, but that's chitzoni, that's an external something that was put upon Israel. It's not something natural to them. It didn't come from them, from their neshama. It was a situation that was coerced on them, unnaturally. But that unity will return to be shochen, to dwell amongst Israel. We'll regain that teva. Because nature itself will assist the Jewish people to find our way back to unity. So the good news here for Abtertel is nature itself, because nature likes to go to nature always has a way of going back to itself, to its natural tendencies. And if Achdut is the teva of Am Yisrael, so nature itself will bring us back to this unity. And another thing, this is what you were missing last week, Edie. So he's just repeating it here, and I'm fleshing it out more. And also another thing that Rabbeinu, this godly Rabbeinu, I think he's in his Ruach HaKodesh, I think he's talking about the Rambam, another thing that he revealed to us, she'af begalut nishar hakoach achdut b'Yisrael, that even in Galus, maybe he's referring to the Rambam, but the Rambam isn't usually referred to as the philosopher. The Rambam is usually referred to the philosopher. But in any case, he's saying that even in that when we were in Galus, we have the power of unity in Israel, that even in our unnatural state, the kernel of needing to be Achdut is always there, but it's there in potential. And we have to actualize that potential. And with the right action that Am Yisrael will do, the Jews will do, they can awaken this koach, this power, that it should be made manifest and actualized, and should return in its full force as real Achdut in Am Yisrael. And then a third point that he said, Kasher Katav Rabbeinu, Sherachel, that Rachel Imenu, in her merit and the merit of her tefillot, in her merit and the merit of her tefillot, she gives us the koach of unity to unite and to gather in all of the exiles, all of the different parts of Am Yisrael together, even when we're in Galus. Rachel mevakal baneh. She's the mama, and she's a keret habayit, and she is a big unifying force. And so in her merit, this is something that is always there with us to assist us to come back to our natural state. Imken. So therefore, from these three facets, from these 3 points that he mentioned, it's lo muzar lanu hamusag. The concept of unity, of Achdut, is not strange to us. It's not strange to us. So someone who was born in, let's say, Canada or Hungary or Morocco, wherever, right? And they're like 5th generation Canadian or Hungarian or whatever, right? Or Moroccan, whatever it is. And that child, what does he have to do with Israel? What does he have to do with Jewish people all over the world? But whether his parents will teach him or not, it's something to do with his neshama. That's what he's saying here.
There was a woman in Canada actually that saved the Jews in Syria. She's a well-known woman. The Jews, she helped bring all the Jews out of Syria.
Amazing.
In the 60s.
Wow.
I've forgotten her name, but she single-handedly. She went
I think I
Yeah,
used to
she's
know
famous.
this.
Yeah,
She's famous.
Yeah. But like here's a Canadian Jewish Ashkenazi woman worried about
Beautiful.
the Syrian Jews.
Because how could you not?
And how
Because
they
how could you not?
relocated.
Beautiful. Because
I did it in the 80s for the Ethiopian jury.
Mhm.
I stood up in front of my whole congregation
yeah,
and said, if you stay silent now, you don't have the right to say we didn't know during World
Right.
War II. Because your grandchildren are going to say to you, where were you when Ethiopian Jews were wiped off the face of the planet?
there you go. So
and you're going to say, I knew about it and I didn't do anything.
right, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say, like, a little different, but it's like there's this concept. I don't know if you ever heard of like bageling, right? It's when you think someone's Jewish, and so you drop like a couple like hints to see if they respond. Like, so for example, let's say you're on a trip somewhere, I don't know, in China, and you think someone's Jewish, and you're like, oh, I wish I had bagels around here or something like that. Or
That's
like
a thing. It's bageling. It's called.
yeah, it's called bageling, and like, oh, this reminds me of my shul, because it's like, you want to see if someone else is a Jew. And it's funny because it's like, you could be traveling, and then let's say you see someone with a kippah, and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to go talk to them, I want to be with them, and it's really this achdut from the neshama, that you recognize that you see another Jew, and you could be in Japan, wherever, and it's like you want to connect with them, you want to want to be with them.
Right. Okay. Good. Just about
in my travels.
You what?
I beagle a
You
lot.
bagel a
in my
lot?
shop
So
travels.
I never heard that term.
in Montreal, there was a bakery called Cantor's Bakery, and they had a big advertisement with an Eskimo. It's like you're not supposed to say Eskimo. It's like not. It's like you have to call them Inuit or First Native people, whatever. But there was a picture clearly of someone that lives in an igloo, with and with the caption of you don't have to be Jewish to eat Cantor's bagels. That was the thing.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Okay.
No, I don't, but I know that in New York they used to have either Chinese or I don't know, people from Africa or I don't know wherever, and it said you don't have to be Jewish to eat Levi's rye bread.
There you go.
That's
Okay, there you go. Okay.
And that does come up. I've had people say stuff to me about bagels and cream cheese and lox, and I'm like, you Jewish? They go, no, just like it.
They have Jewish friends. You have Jewish friends? Okay. Im ken. Mishlosha panim. So from these things, so the concept of unity is not something strange to us. V'lo yeh etzleinu, v'lo hi etzleinu davar mibiti. And so because it's not a strange concept, it should not be so out of the ordinary, v'lo haya ולא היא אצלנו דבר מבלתי מציאות ומסוג האי אפשרות. So that, which means it's not something impossible to reach. You think to look at all the different Jews and all the opinions and all the culture, you think, how are we ever going to find unity amongst this? Is Mashiach going to be what? He's going to be Hungarian. Of course, he's going to be Hungarian. It's going to be, how is he going to unite? Like, he's going to be something. He's gonna have some roots in one of the cultures, right? But it's not like he's saying it's not such a far-fetched possibility. What's hard to receive?
That it's not a hard possibility, that it's unity is so possible when we look at what's going on among the Jewish people today, and you look at like our exile and how it's splintered us into these silos.
Okay, beautiful. I'm gonna comment to this. Ta'ira said, Ta'ira. I don't know. I had it right before, but okay. Ta'ira said like this. Actually, when she looks at all the everything that's going on in the Jewish people now, and all the factions and all the talk and everything, it seems like an impossible thing. But I want to say something. That we see that, but we can also see that the land of Israel is populated by Jews coming from all over the world. There's hardly a country that exists on the globe that doesn't have a representative Jew living in the land of Israel now. That's called Kibbutz Galuyot. That seemed like an impossibility 80 years ago. An absolute impossibility. Absolute impossibility. And yet we're living here now. We thought it was impossible to have whatever you want to say about the Knesset, whatever you want to say about the leading party or the opposition or all the talk that's there, to have an army that's made up of people, Jews and non-Jews, from all over the world, fighting for the defense of the land. And these soldiers are willing to put all of their differences aside, and there is no difference between Ashkenazi and Sephardi on the main troops on the ground. They're friends, they have each other's back, they'll die for each other. Literally. You have to be able to see that also. My point is, it's what makes the news hits our eyes and our senses. We see it and we hear it, and it gaslights us, and it's trying to make us believe that that's the only reality that's there. But meanwhile, there's a whole other greater reality of actual Achdut happening right now. And it's a matter of what you choose to see. And it's something to daven for. In other words, you can daven, you can say, Hashem, give me this siyata tishmaya, help from above, to allow me to see the unity that actually is there. Open it up in my heart. It's for sure there. You understand? And then if you and what you daven for, Mina Shemaim, they'll have rachamim on you and on all of us, and you'll go in that way. Your heart will go that way. Your eyes will be able to catch more of it. And the media, as far as I'm concerned, is a great big tool in the hands of the Satan. It's the biggest tool of the Yetzer Hara to fight against this unity. It's Maseh Satan. And we have to just not pay attention to it and ask for godly eyes, because the other stuff is happening for sure. Yeah.
I wanted to say that what is implanted, what he was saying, is Lashon HaKodesh, that we come from all over the world, and I can sit on the bus with a Russian lady and converse in Ivrit.
That's
Lashon
right.
HaKodesh.
That's
That's
right.
the unity that's implanted.
The Lashon Kodesh unifies us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Part of our culture too is that we don't always agree on the same things, and we.
The Gemara is full of
arguing-
disputes.
Exactly, so that's a part of our culture.
So this
But I just wanted to say that when I was after October 7th, and I'll meet with different people from different countries when they find out I'm in Israel living, they always ask me, was your family involved? Do you know anybody? Are you okay? And I would say, I know everybody. I know everybody that was there. My heart breaks and I'm sick
That's right.
for everybody. because
Exactly.
We're all connected. So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
To
even with all
stop
our
thinking
differences,
about
we're
it
still
as
connected.
degrees of separation.
Exactly.
Just because they weren't born to me doesn't mean that they're not my child. Not my brother, sister, my father, my mother, my aunt, my grandmother, whatever it is, my baby.
Getting back to what you were saying before, like 50 years ago, my communication classes, they used to say that negativity and tragedy sells newspapers.
Right,
Positivity wants to buy the paper.
right. We have
Yeah.
to do this. Yes, Cynthia.
Okay, one last thing. I just wanted to say that it's also the things that like the non-Jews that they don't like about the Jewish people. It's our strength, and that's what they don't like. You know, there's a lot of people like, oh, Jews only help each other in business. Like Jews only look out for each other, you know? So it's like our strength. And then people who aren't Jewish, like they look at it in like with like a little bit of an envy and hate that like, oh, why are you guys always helping each other? You only want to help each other.
And then I know that this was a trick that Canadians figured out, Goyim, that if they get stuck on a highway, they have a kippah in their glove compartment, because if they're standing with the kippah, they're likely to have some Jew stop them and help them. Because they'll know because Jews help each other out. They'll see someone with a kippah, they'll stop for them. You know what? It's good to listen to what the Goyim say about us, because it's right, they're right on. It's exactly what we should be. We should be looking for more out for each other. Okay. There was something else just based on what you said, that it's dispute is part of, it's not wiping out disputes. It's not like we have to always have the same opinion about things. That's confusing love with like, and that there's a big, I mentioned this one of the other classes, the biggest indicator of this is that Moshe Rabbeinu, the biggest leader of the Jewish people, he unified everybody. Moshe, Mem Shin Hey, the Rabbi Nachman points out that it's an acronym for Machloket Shammai Hillel. Mem Shin Hey. The Machloket Shammai and Hillel is already implied in Moshe Rabbeinu, who gave us the Torah, one Torah. Incredible. I may have said it in this class last week. Did I? I don't know.
Yeah, you did. Not in this class.
So maybe 2 weeks ago. Okay, here we go. So now we're continuing. So because it's a natural, something that's a part of our nature, so which means the good news is it's not far-fetched. It's not an impossibility. And we have to just put our hearts, we have to put the attention of our heart and our thoughts in the direction of truth. And we should ask Hashem, okay, that he should lighten our eyes, brighten our eyes, illuminate our eyes in this matter. To find the way, in the path, that will lead us for this ultimate purpose, to be engaged with actions that is auspicious, that will bring this about, that are fit to awaken this achdus. So if it's something natural to me, Hashem, what is it? So awaken it in my heart, open my eyes. What is it that I need to do that I'm not doing? That right now it's only in potential and not yet actualized. I want to be an actualized Jew in this area of Achdut, of how I feel towards other Jews. To have it come out an actualized potential amongst us. And Hashem, blessed be He, will come to our aid if we will daven for it, if we'll put it on our agenda, our to-do list, our want list, our ratzon list. Okay, as Chazal said in Masechet Shabbat, Habali Taher Mesayin Lo. Someone who comes to purify himself, he gets help from above. And Tikkunei Zohar on this says, Shekol Tzava HaShamayim Mesayin Bazeh, that all the heavenly hosts of Shamayim come and aid the person in this way. What does that mean? To me, I think it means the opportunity to act, to have you engaged in this Achdut and actualize the potential that's implanted with you, opportunities will open up to you. The Rashba says, and these are his words, Galui l'chol balei einayim, it is revealed before anyone who has eyes, שהכל לפי הצורך מסייעים למלאכת שמיים. That everything according to the need, שהכל לפי הצורך, everything according to its need, מסייעים למלאכת שמיים. If your desire is מלאכת שמיים, is to do something of Shamayim, in other words, L'Shem Shamayim, Achdut Am Yisrael, Geula, all of that, then nothing will be withheld from that person by way of aid given to that person. V'odet Hashem b'chol libi. Now Rav Tefel says, and I thank Hashem with all my heart, she'achar shenatati libi lidrosh v'lachkor b'miktzah zo, that after I put my heart into researching this matter of Achdut and Yishuv Eretz Yisrael, Shebo tolu Yeshuat Yisrael, like what is it he's living through? We're reading here from a book, we're following a book that's written by Rav Tefel, who wrote it during the Holocaust, who did not survive. And he was a Munkach Chassid, who was an anti-Zionist, and he, because of his tremendous Talmid Chacham background, wanted to know, why is this happening to us? And he started researching, and he thinks, because we rejected going back to motherland, to our homeland, to Eretz Yisrael, when we had the opportunity, and now even if we wanted to, we can't go. And from the punishment, we understand the crime. There's no freedom of movement. Who during the Holocaust would not give anything to go back to Eretz Yisrael? When they had the opportunity, they preferred staying in the lands of the exiles, even with all of the crazy laws that were going around them. They're saying, this will pass, and the Goyim will stop picking on us, and we'll be able to live our life and business as usual after. And he's saying, how many times do we have to go through this history over and over again until we get that these things happen to us to bring us back to the land of Israel? And so this was his big contribution to Am Yisrael, to speak about the importance of Yishuv Eretz Yisrael. And he did not survive. His manuscript survived. He did not survive. And he says, so I gave my whole, I devoted myself to understanding what will be the salvation of Am Yisrael during the Holocaust. What is the point? Ha'ir Hashem et libi, and Hashem woke my heart up. Vegadol ha'etzah natan b'libi, and he gave me the biggest advice, the biggest etzah, like fell into my heart. Etzah nechona, a true etzah, a true advice, v'tikuna, and true tikkun. Eich levi befoel et kol am kadosh Yisrael be'achdut. How to actualize and bring together all of Am Yisrael, all of the holy nation of Israel, be'achdut achad, in one unity, to be one unified whole. B'knufiyah achat, one big group. Vehu, and that is livchor b'mitzvah achat, and that is, what's the etzah? To choose one mitzvah, mitzvato, from all of the mitzvahs of the Torah, shita sekba, that every single Jew can be engaged in that one mitzvah, from the littlest one to the greatest one of Am Yisrael. V'zeh mitzvah yechut mekif, and this one mitzvah will be the string that ties everything together, will surround everybody and group everybody in the same camp, that will connect us all to be one body and one nation on the land. And through that one mitzvah, all of Am Yisrael will be one cloud, one unit, shalem, complete, perfect, in physicality and in ruchnias, with sanctity and with purity. As was explained above, that when Am Yisrael is biyachad, they're always b'kedusha. You can't have a tzibur that's in unity even if you have faulty individuals, when they're together, there's kedusha to them. Kedusha doesn't leave Am Yisrael as a whole. There's a Shechina that resides about within them, even though individuals in that collective group are sinners, but not the collective group. Ve'ein satan ve'ein pegara. There's no satan and there's no pegara. There's no hurt or harm that can come to them. And it becomes ein satan to me means like there's immunity to the satan, to the Yetzer Hara, when we're united. As he said, now he's quoting himself, as he brought up in a previous chapter, in the name of the Rambam and the Ran, Bidrushotav, and his Drashos B'Shem HaMekubal, according to Shalom Sharabi, Mekubal Shevi, that brought the Pelioez. Okay, he's quoting a lot of people that's saying the same thing here. Shebekabbalat mitzvah, that when with the Kabbalah, what's the Kabbalah? The acceptance upon one mitzvah. A person just, let's say they don't do all the mitzvah, but if they devote themselves, they accept to do at least one mitzvah l'shem shamayim. This one I'm not going to be compromising. I'm going to do it to the fullest extent that I can. Okay, one mitzvah is already enough to call a person a Baal Tshuva. Baal Tshuva means you reach the Madrega of Tshuva. Means you've reached the level of purity. Gemura, Baal Tshuva, Gemura. V'yuchlu liskot l'geula, and through that one mitzvah, we can merit the geula. Through that one mitzvah. So it's enough for an individual to choose one mitzvah to do very correctly, enough to bring the geula. You're doing your part of a Baal Tshuva, and as it says in Perek Kama de Kiddushin, okay, in the first chapter of Masechet Kiddushin, Kol ha'oseh mitzvah achat metivin lo marichin lo yamav v'nochel. That everyone who does one mitzvah, they give benefit to him, they do good to him, marichin lo yamav, and they lengthen his days, v'nochel et haaretz, and he has a portion in the land of Israel. V'zeh b'yachid, and that's about the individual. All the more so if the multitude of people, if the Rov, the Rabim, if the masses do this one mitzvah, and how great is its action, how great are its benefits. Like you can't even imagine. It's hard to evaluate the merit of such a thing. And through that one mitzvah, can bring about all the other actions, the desired actions that we want to see. I knew, now he said, that many will ask, which mitzvah? Which mitzvah should we choose to be engaged with? All of Klal Yisrael. And about this, I will answer what the Haran B'Drishotav, the Haran expressed in his drashos that he brought in the previous places, that he wrote, it has to be a mitzvah that will, okay, let me read the whole Hebrew before chopping it up. שכתב שצריך שיהיה מצווה זו דייזכה על ידה לחיי עולם הבא, שיהיה מצווה זו מצווה של ערך גדול, in order to merit length of days, שיהיה מצווה זו מצווה של ערך גדול, this mitzvah has to be of great value, that one that is weighs against all other mitzvot. Like you put that mitzvah on one scale, it has the weight of all the other mitzvot. Okay, which mitzvah is that? That's what the Ran said. כמו כן, בנידון דידן, לקבץ כל כלל ישראל בכללות, אחד צריך שיהיה מצווה זו שפחו. Also, if we're talking about a mitzvah that's going to gather in all of Klal Yisrael, it should be a mitzvah, the mitzvah that we choose to do, שיותר גדולה ויותר חשובה משאר מצוות. It has to be something that's all-encompassing, greater than all of the other mitzvot that can encompass all of Am Yisrael at the same time. Comparatively, okay? V'adaina, now you'll ask, is it possible to actually weigh one mitzvah against another mitzvah? halorach chaim, and like, is it okay? It's like, is it kosher to do that? Aval leumat zot, some people can ask, but according to this, there's a pasuk in Mishlei that says, "Falas ma'agal raglecha v'chol drachecha yichonen." Falas ma'agal is, what's the English to that?
The path of life least you weigh.
No, again, the next pasuk after that.
Weigh the path of your feet, and all your ways will be established.
Weigh the path of your feet, but in the Hebrew is pales ma'agal raglecha, means draw a circle around your feet. Okay, and then if you stay loyal to that which you decided to stay firm to, okay, then all your ways will be upright. That if now, so it's true, we can't pick and choose, we can't play favoritism with mitzvot, we can't say the one mitzvah is more important than the other. However, we have also, it seems like there's a contradiction here that said, no, you can choose one mitzvah over another, and he's going to now resolve it for us. But Chazal said, when they speak about mitzvah Yeshivat Eretz Yisrael, that the mitzvah of settling the land of Israel, is one mitzvah sheshkula neged kol Torah kula. That is a mitzvah that is keneged kol Torah kula. That is weighs as heavily as all of the other mitzvot put together, as it says in the Ramban. The Ramban Nachmanides explains in Sefer HaMitzvahs in that Yishuv Eretz is part of the 613 mitzvahs that he counts. There's different traditions of how to count the 613. In the Ramban, Yishuv Eretz is one of them, and most of the Gdolim of Rishonim and Achronim agreed with him. But I want to explain to you, why is it that Eretz Yisrael is connected to Torah Kula? I think he explained in previous chapters, because he doesn't say it here. Let me finish his sentence and then I'll go back to remind me that I want to explain that to you, okay? Therefore, we should choose a mitzvah of Yishuv Eretz Yisrael to engage with Kulanu, all of us together, and all Jews, no matter where they live in the world, that this is the one mitzvah that's going to unite us, and through that we can become Goy Echad Ba'aretz, one nation on the land. And through that mitzvah that we care about, even if you're still living in Galus, but you want to live here, you said you send money to settle the land, to help the farmers, to build infrastructures, to mechazik Torah in the land of Israel. And you have your intention at a certain point to make aliyah yourself. Your heart is here. Temporary, you're there, but really this is your home. This is what you're covenant. Then you're considered like as being part of Eretz Yisrael. And this, in this manner of engaging and being preoccupied with this mitzvah Yeshiva, this is the thing that's the Achdut that's going to unify all of us. And this will help actualize and manifest the unity that exists within every Jew in potential, but to activate it before, and this will be the thing that will bring us into Geula Shlema. And we will merit to all the great future that all the prophets prophesied about. Now, let me explain. What time is it now? Okay, so this is the last thing. I thought I was going to do a next item. Why is Eretz Yisrael shkula? Let's think about it together, okay? Why would Eretz Yisrael be shkula, would weigh as much as all of the other mitzvahs in the Torah? Shkula means weigh. It's a weight. Okay, it weighs against. Now, what is it? So we know that Eretz Yisrael is the natural place of the Jewish people. We have mitzvot shetluyot ba'aretz. We have mitzvahs that are dependent on the land of Israel. Turumot and mesrot. You don't have to take. Here we need kashrut signs on fruits and vegetables. In Chutz La'aretz, you just go to the grocery store, you buy fruits and vegetables. You don't have to check hashgacha. Unless the produce comes from Israel, you have to make sure that they took Truma and Meiser. And if they didn't, you have to take it yourself over there. But it's because it's a mitzvah of the land of Israel. So many of the mitzvahs have to do with Beit HaMikdash. the korbanot, and everything to do with the agriculture that is around the service of the temple, and everything, all of and the animals and everything has to do with, where's the Beis Hamikdash located? In Eretz Yisrael, in Yerushalayim HaKodesh. We have 613 mitzvot. Practically speaking, the Chafetz Chaim counted how many actually mitzvahs we can actually do, even in our state of galus. The number comes out to barely 70. Yes. And the rest of them have to do with being in the land of Israel, and then also having the Beis Hamikdash, because you have the laws of the Kohanim and all of Sefer Vayikra. Basically, is you can only do it. The whole Sefer Vayikra is conditional upon being in the Eretz Yisrael. Now, the Chagim, even the Pesach and Shavuos and Sukkot and all of the Chagim that we do in Chutz Haaretz was dependent on sighting the moon in Eretz Yisrael. That's why we have the second day Yom Tov in Chutz Haaretz, because we're following the calendar of Eretz Yisrael in case the message got late to them. Now, even though the calendar is fixed now, but it was fixed by Hillel HaZaken, in his infinite wisdom, according to the calculations, I don't know how he was able to do such an astronomical calculation to come up with a calendar. They don't have to see the moon to know when the Molad is until Mashiach comes. You don't need the witnesses, that you can rely on his calculation, and it's exact. The calendar is set way back then, thousands of years ago. That's correct now, that every new moon that is sighted in Israel is according to the calculation of that calendar there. Because you know when you go to the shul and there's Kiddush Birkat HaChodesh, Shabbos Mevarchim, they say when the Molad is. They announce when the new moon is actually beginning, when the old moon stopped, and now at this point it's the Molad of the new moon. It's a hair's breadth. You can't perceivably, you can't see it with your eyes. It's in a split second. It's like saying the middle of the night. Chatzos, according to Jewish calculation, what's chatzot? It's when it stops being before and because, but it's like the same dark. It doesn't look like anything perceptible. But according to the calculation, now from that second, from that split fraction of a second, that dark actually belongs to the next day. It's actually going towards the light. It's no more increasing, going to the dark. And now it's stopped and it's going to the light. And this is the wisdom of the Jewish rabbis that were able to calculate it. But it was dependent on sighting the new moon in Eretz Yisrael. So we see that so much of the Torah, all of the laws of Pesach and Shevach, all of the holidays, everything is according to the calculations of what happens in Eretz Yisrael. So we see that without Eretz Yisrael, where are we? We don't even have Torah. Practically speaking, we can barely keep Torah if we don't have Eretz Yisrael. Everything is dependent on Eretz Yisrael. It's the prize. It's our natural place. It's our place of everything. It's our body. It's our neshama. Everything, and we have to be in keeping with it. And the pasuk that he keeps bringing is the magic pasuk here is Goy Echad. When we're talking about Achdus, it's Ba'aretz. The potential of being a Goy Echad, one nation, unified in all the ways that we spoke about in the beginning of the class. What being unified means is Ba'aretz. That potential can only be actualized when we're here, or when at least if we're still out there, focused on here, and our heart and our souls are here, and our intentions are here, and we understand this is our real home, and we're just kind of temporarily there. For 70 years, we're temporarily there, but it's temporary. Get it?
to understand why God created like our nation to be so rooted in a place. If Hashem created the whole world and the whole, and like you could find Hashem anywhere in this world. Why is it so fundamental to be so rooted in a place?
What's our job in the world?
No, she's asking a good question. It's like my mother asking about Uman when my kids go to Uman. What, God is not here, you have to go to Rosh Hashanah there? There's no tzaddikim in Eretz Yisrael, you have to go to Uman. It's not the same question, but it's your question is even bigger than that. It's in the same, if Hashem is here, there, and everywhere, why can't we just?
Well, that's the question a lot of people chutz la'aretz ask.
Right. So
Why
I'm
do
gonna.
I need to be there? Hashem's everywhere.
So an answer that came to me now in my heart, as you asked, I never really answered it this way. So you can take it with a grain of salt or argue with me or agree with me and build it up. I don't know. But just like everything is a microcosm reflecting a macrocosm. So the Jewish people is a reflection of something greater in the world. It's a microcosm. Now, our body is a microcosm for the macro, for something out there too. The Arizal says that every person is a mini world. Everything that's in the world is also in us. We have forests, we have oceans, we have animals, we have everything. And there's actually works of Kabbalistic texts that parallel. Speaking about the hair, the hair that comes out of our epidermis and everything, it's like, now we have a heart. We have a heart. That everything is dependent upon the heart. You can say the pulse of the heart, the bloodstream goes throughout, rushes the whole body. What do you need the heart for? You need the heart. We understand it physically that we need the heart. Because without the heart, there's not going to be any blood to my little toe. I need the blood to rush through, but there's an organism that makes it all work. The Jewish people is like that in terms of a God consciousness in the world, not for it to stay with us, to share with the world, but there's a heart to the world. It's called the Jewish neshama. And there's a body that there's a territory. It's called the land of Israel. That represents something greater for the someone help me try to say what I'm saying if somebody's catching what I'm saying.
She's asking specifically why this place.
No, she's saying no, not why specific this, but why it's not Uganda or Canada. She said why any place. Why any place? And I'm saying just like we need a heart in our body, just like we need our body to house our neshama. There's no neshama without the body. It's a spirit that's can't do anything. The body without the neshama is a lump of whatever. It's nothing. It's dead. It's a corpse. Can't do anything. Neshama without the body also can't do anything because it needs the limbs of the body to animate them to do good in the world. So too, the world needs that type of attention of saying, of looking where the heart is, where the health is, and to look to that place. And we need, so there's a neshama and a body, and we need a place. The global and universal idea of God in this world, according to our psychological makeup, according to how we're wired, we need a place and we need a people to represent that. That's the answer that came to me in my heart now. There's many, maybe better examples. You're not the first person to ask. Our sources are full of, the sources ask these questions. Well, rabbis ask them, and there's a lot of different answers, but that's the answer that came to me now.
Is it because Adam Arishon was in this place? Avraham was in this place?
I don't know if that they were in Gan Eden. But it doesn't, to me, I don't know if that would be a satisfying answer. So why does that have to be in that? But it's like, it was representing the whole world. The whole world was Gan Eden in that case.
No, there's klipot. Someone else speaking?
No, it's okay, Cynthia.
Okay, no, I'm saying there's an energy here, right? In Eretz Yisrael that you don't have anywhere else. The whole Tanakh Hashem is talking about he wants to be in Eretz Yisrael. It's a very specific place. There's a very special energy here.
Yeah, the question is why,
But why does he? need it?
but why did God choose a place with a special energy? Why can't that energy be all over the world? And as a matter of fact,
There's klipot in the other parts
they
of the
will
world.
be, right, Malka, because in the Geula time, the sources talk about the whole world will be Eretz Yisrael. The consciousness that's will be Israel. Exactly. It's not, it doesn't start with us and end with us. It starts with us, but it's supposed to end with everybody and the whole world.
I find it interesting why, like, the Torah like guides call is Yisrael to be in this particular place.
Is it this particular place? Eretz Yisrael?
Yeah. Yeah,
He
like,
ultimately he chose that this should be the place of divine energy, of the influx of divine energy from here going outward to the world. The Kabbalists speak about, it's not going to be satisfying answers. Ultimately, it's God's will. It could have been anywhere else, but he chose this place. Why did he choose this place? But the fact that he chose this place makes it very special and unique, and makes it very packed with spirituality, that it's palatable, that it's energetically, it's here more than anywhere else. And the rabbis speak about the Kabbalists. I think maybe it's something from the Zohar, that we're the belly button of the world. This is the beginning point. Harabait, Yerushalayim is a place where God spun the world into existence. The Yesh Me'ayin began here. There's something from nothing, and it's just packed with divine flow of energy. This is the gateway to heaven. Why he chose this place? Because he chose it, and that's why it's this place.
The spiritual vortex.
It's a spiritual vortex.
It is. And that's
This is
why
what it is. And very interestingly speaking, that the Zionists in the times of Herzl wanted Uganda. He didn't want Uganda. But the British Empire offered him Uganda as a save-in for the place. And he was going to go for it because his big motivator was, let's get this Jews into a safe place where the anti-Semites can't get to them. They don't like us to be amongst them. We'll find our own place. Britain offered them Uganda, and Herzl came into depression because of this, that most of the people going to the Zionist conferences voted against it. And he said, if it's either Eretz Yisrael or no place. It has to be Eretz Yisrael. And this is coming from non-religious Jews. And they knew, and they were coming from a place of nationalism. We have a territory. We are a people, and our territory is a land of Israel, because that's where our history is. Whether they understood, now they understood it. Doesn't make sense. If someone's offering Uganda, go to Uganda. Nice green land over there.
Yeah, send the Palestinians in.
Yeah. But there's something in the Jewish neshama that's connected to this place, and it's a spiritual root. Why it's like that? It's a God thing.
because I visited other spiritual vortexes. Very energetic and powerful.
Okay, there could be.
Yeah, you can feel it.
Okay. Yeah.
But I also reckon the fact that my neshama feels
What?
My neshama feels very different here.
Absolutely. It's a God thing. It's a God thing.
I don't think it's.
You're not. It's not. It's beyond being taught.